Lagos has a way of making you feel like you're always moving, even when you're standing still inside. For a long time, I, Emeka, a software engineer pushing 30, thought I had my life mapped out, especially when it came to my closest ally, Funke. We had been inseparable since our primary school days in Surulere, through the bustling corridors of Unilag, and now navigating the relentless grind of Lagos Tech. She was my confidante, the one who knew my deepest fears and wildest dreams, or so I believed. My world had been a whirlwind of late, back-end development deadlines that blurred nights into days, and a growing concern for my parents back in Enugu, particularly my father's ailing health, which weighed heavily on me. I would vent to Funke, describing the stress, the sleepless nights, the dread. She would listen, often nodding, but then, almost invariably, the conversation would pivot. Her challenges, her latest wahala at her marketing agency, her dating dramas, they would take center stage. At first, I dismissed it. Omo, everyone has their crosses to bear, I would tell myself, a common Lagos mantra. But as months turned into a year of me being her constant sounding board, while my own anxieties, my own needs for support went largely unacknowledged, a quiet, corrosive frustration began to fester. The feeling of being emotionally depleted, of pouring myself out and getting only crumbs in return, became a constant companion. One humid Tuesday afternoon, the air thick with the smell of exhaust fumes and frying akara from a nearby street vendor, I found myself picking at a plate of lukewarm jollof rice at a small, crowded buka in Yaba. The usual vibrant chatter and the distant blare of a Damfo horn felt like a muffled echo of my inner turmoil. Funke sat opposite me, her bright Ankara scarf a splash of color against the dull wall, glued to her phone, occasionally chuckling at something on her screen. In that moment, something clicked. I saw the imbalance, stark and undeniable. I took a deep, shaky breath, the spice of the jollof suddenly crying in my throat. Funke, I began, my voice raspy. I need to talk. About us. I laid it all out, my feeling of being unheard, the constant shifting of focus to her problems, the emotional exhaustion. I spoke about the deep sense of loneliness that had settled over me, despite being surrounded by people, about needing a friend who could be present for my pain, not just their own. It was raw, stripped bare. Funke slowly lowered her phone. Her usual effervescent expression hardened into something unreadable. The silence stretched, punctuated only by the clatter of plates and the street noise. Finally, she met my gaze, a flicker of something I could not quite place in her eyes. Emeka. I hear you, she said softly, her voice uncharacteristically subdued. This is a lot. I do not want to reply over text, or right now. This kind of conversation needs proper attention. Let us talk in person, soon. You know I care about you, Emeka. Always. I felt a fragile sense of relief. It was a big confession, and I knew she needed time. The Yaba traffic outside had become a symphony of horns and engines, but my heart, though heavy, felt a fraction lighter. I left that buka, clinging to the hope that we were on the precipice of understanding, ready to repair what had clearly fractured. That fragile sense of relief did not last. Soon, Funke had promised, but soon in Lagos is a mirage, especially when convenience dictates its timing. Days dissolved into weeks, then months. I reached out, sending carefully worded texts suggesting meetups. Lunch at that new spot in Lekki? After work drinks in Victoria Island? Her replies, initially apologetic, grew increasingly vague. Emeka, my boss is on my neck. I am practically living at the office this week. Ah, my generator blew yesterday. I am dealing with NEPA Wahala and trying to get a repairman. My head is spinning. Just got a last-minute flight to Abuja for a client meeting. I will be back next weekend. Each excuse, though plausible in the chaotic dance of Lagos life, felt like another brick in a wall she was slowly building between us. I would see her post on Instagram vibrant, laughing selfies with other friends at beach bars, clips from parties in Ikoyi, or stories about weekend getaways. The contrast was a gut punch. She had time for everyone else, for every other Lagos experience, but not for the conversation she would promise me. Not for me. The third mainland bridge, usually a symbol of Lagos' relentless energy, became a stark reminder of the growing chasm in our friendship. Stuck in traffic, staring out at the murky expanse of the lagoon, I would replay our Yaba conversation, dissecting every word, every nuance. Was I too harsh? Did I say something wrong? My man, usually sharp and analytical for coding, now felt like a tangled web of doubt and self-blame. My colleagues at the tech hub would occasionally ask, Emeka, how is Funke? Have not seen you two together much lately. The questions, though innocent, felt like accusations. I would mumble something about busy schedules, feeling like a hypocrite, a fraud. How do you explain that your oldest, closest friend has essentially ghosted you after you pulled your heart out? I tried, gently, to steer our text exchanges back to the talk. Funke, have you had a moment to think about what I said? Her reply was always the same, a polite but firm deflection. Emeka, I told you, I want to talk in person. Text just causes misunderstandings and wahala. Let us find the time soon. But the time soon never materialized. My calls became fewer, my texts more sparse, each one a desperate plea disguised as casual banter. The vibrant hum of the city, once a comforting symphony of ambition and life, now felt like 1,000 voices, drowning out my own silent screams for understanding. Sleep became elusive, replaced by restless nights spent staring at the ceiling, the generator hum from downstairs, a constant reminder of things left unaddressed, unfixed. I felt completely isolated, stranded in a city of millions, while the one person I thought I could always count on drifted further and further away. Months bled into half a year, pushing past Christmas and into the new year. Then came my biggest career milestone yet, a promotion to lead engineer for a major international project. It was everything I would worked for, the kind of news I would usually call funk about first, expecting her ecstatic cheers and teasing remarks about me finally making it big. I sent her a celebratory text, brief and excited. Her reply was a single, Congrats, Emeka, so happy for you. No call, no suggestion to celebrate, definitely no mention of the talk. That evening, I sat alone in my sleek but empty apartment in Lekki. NEPA had done their usual thing, plunging the estate into darkness, so my small but reliable generator whirred steadily outside, its hum a melancholic rhythm against the backdrop of the dimly lit city. I scrolled through Instagram, a habit I hated but could not break. And there she was, Funke, beaming in a gorgeous lace dress, surrounded by mutual friends at a lavish restaurant in Victoria Island, celebrating her own recent achievement, an award from her agency. A celebratory caption, hashtag with Lagos Nights and friendship goals. The image was a punch to the gut. The pain was immediate, visceral. It was not just the fact that she was celebrating without me. It was the stark realization that she was actively choosing to engage with others, with life, while deliberately withholding from me after I had bared my soul. Her insistence on in-person conversations was not about avoiding misunderstanding. It was a carefully constructed shield, a tactic to avoid the uncomfortable truth I would lay bare. It was a way to keep me at arm's length, to avoid accountability, to avoid the messy, emotional work required to mend a friendship. The woman I had known for 2 decades, who I thought was my other half, was showing me unequivocally that she was not. The betrayal was not in an angry word or a sharp rebuke. It was in the deafening, calculated silence. The generator outside sputtered briefly, then caught, its hum returning to a steady drum. In that moment, a furious tirade formed in my head. I grabbed my phone, fingers hovering over the keypad, ready to unleash years of pent-up hurt, to demand answers, to shake her into seeing what she was doing. But then my hand froze. What good would it do? Would it change anything? Would it magically transform her into the friend I needed her to be? No. It would only make me feel more desperate, more pathetic. I realized I was fighting for a friendship that only one of us was committed to salvaging. The silence from Funke was not an oversight. It was not Lagos chaos. It was a deliberate choice. It was her answer. And heartbreakingly, I had to accept it. The days that followed were not magically free of pain. The ghost of our friendship, of shared laughter and whispered secrets, still haunted me. There were moments when the thought of Funke, of all we had been through, would hit me like a rogue Danforth swerving unexpectedly in traffic. But each time I grounded myself, recalling the bitter clarity I would found in the generator's hum that fateful night. My self-worth, my peace, my very identity was not dependent on her validation or her willingness to engage with my truth. It was a tough pill to swallow, but essential. I started pouring my energy into what truly mattered. At work, my new role thrived. I embraced the challenge, mentoring junior developers, finding genuine satisfaction in building and leading. I intentionally reconnected with colleagues beyond the superficial, going for evening suya and drinks at a local spot in Surulere, engaging in real, reciprocal conversations, the kind where listening was mutual and honest. I found new friends, people who showed up, who asked how I was doing and actually waited for an answer. There was Aisha, a brilliant UI/UX designer, whose dry wit made me laugh again, and Tunde, a fellow tech lead who understood the pressures of the industry and offered genuine camaraderie. I even started a new routine, morning runs along the Lekki Koi Link Bridge, watching the city slowly wake up, the rising sun painting the sky in hues of orange and gold. It was a symbolic act, a reclaiming of my space, my peace, my own rhythm. Each stride felt like a step forward, leaving behind the weight of what was lost. The friendship with Funka, a cornerstone of my life for so long, had crumbled, and that hurt. A deep, persistent ache. But in its place, I was building something new, something stronger within myself. The pain of her silence became a strange, unexpected gift, a brutal, yet invaluable lesson in boundaries, in self respect, and in the understanding that not every connection, no matter how deeply rooted, is meant to last forever. Lagos, with all its beautiful chaos and relentless energy, still hummed around me. But now, I was listening to a different rhythm, my own, clear and unapologetic.